Okay, scholars, this slide is talking about what you will do if you have a whole number and a fraction in your parentheses at the top of your slide, and the slide is asking you to add. Okay, so I have some tips on the side for how to work through this problem. The rule for adding fractions: both fractions must have a common denominator, which means the denominator has to be the same number before you can add. So in both fractions, they have to be the same. To find a common denominator, list the multiples of each and use the lowest number they have in common. Again, when you add whole numbers and a fraction, turn the whole number into a fraction by placing the number over 1. So I'm going to work through this problem with you. So what I'm going to do first is follow the tip of putting my whole number 5 over 1 to make it into a fraction. Then I'm going to set up my addition problem. Now the rule, like I just said, for adding fractions is that these denominators have to be the same number before I can start adding. Well, we have a problem. They are not the same. So what I have to do is find a common denominator. So to do that, I need to list the multiples of each one of these bottom numbers. So if I list the multiples of 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I list the multiples of 2, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm trying to find now, do they have numbers in common? Yes, they do. The number that they share in common is 2. So that's going to be my new denominator, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number, since it's not 2, and I'm going to multiply it by 2. And then if I do that on the bottom, I also have to multiply the top number by 2. So when I do that, I end up with 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2. Now, I don't have to do that to this fraction 1/2 because my denominator is already 2. So I can just go ahead and rewrite my problem. Now I have the same common denominator in both fractions. Now I can add. And remember, when you're adding fractions, you do not add the denominators. They just stay the same in the answer. And then you add your numerators. 10 plus 1 is 11. Again, this is an improper fraction. We don't really like improper fractions in math, but for now, we're going to leave it alone. So now that I have added, I need to go over and fill in the different answers. So my first answer, 11/2, needs to be put in decimal form here. So what I can do is get out my calculator and I can plug in 11 divided by 2 equals, I get 5.5. That is my decimal form of that answer. Now they need the answer in fraction form. Well, I have fraction form here, but like I said, I do not like improper fractions. So what I can do is I can use my decimal answer to help me out. So this place value here is a whole number. Anything before the decimal on the left-hand side is a whole number. So in my fraction, I can write the whole number 5. And then 0.5, like we said in the last slide, is equivalent to 1/2. So 11/2, if I were to change it from an improper fraction to a mixed number, becomes 5 and 1/2. Now I need to write my answer as a percent. So to write your answer as a percent, all you have to do is take the decimal from our first response and move it 2 place values to the right, fill in a 0, rewrite that number as a whole number with a percent sign behind it, and it's 550%. The last step is to write this answer in words. So again, I'm going to reference the fraction form, and I'm going to write that out in words. So 5 is my whole number, and 1/2. That is how I solve addition with a whole number and a fraction.